My learning journey with this course, the principle and theories in language acquisition, was very memorable and meaningful. I got to introduce to the stages of language acquisition, particularly on how the children acquire the first and second language. In first language acquisition, the first stage is the prelinguistic, where the babies produce noises like crying, cawing, and whimpering. The examples of free speech sound would be da 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 and ma ma ma. The second stage is babbling. It's called babbling because the baby started to add consonant or consonant vowels in their speech. They would utter some words like gu gu ga da di, like that. Next is the first word stage where children could speak resembles words and simple phrases. Examples of these words are milk, cat, and spoon, which could the children hear every day. After that, the children could continue to increase the repertoire of sounds and vocabulary, which is in the two-word stage. They can now create simple sentences, although it is grammatically incorrect. Take for example, the babies would say, cat, bad, more milk. Okay, like that. Next is the telegraphic stage, where the children begins to produce a multiple word speech. And the beyond telegraphic stage is the last stage, where the development is so rapid. Now the children could produce sentences with variant length and complexity. At this point, I'm going to share my learnings about the stages on the second language acquisition. We could relate this in how we learned English since most of us consider English as our second language. The first stage is what we call the silent or receptive. So here, the learners are just merely observing the gestures, hand movements, and visuals from the teachers. Second is the early production, where the learners begin to speak simple words and sentences. However, there will be many errors in their utterances. Third is the speech emergence, where the learners continue to communicate phrases and sentences using longer words. They can now start simple conversations with their classmates. The fourth stage is the intermediate fluency, where the learners are close to native language fluency and they could interact well in a variety of situations, although they could still commit a minimal errors. And the last stage in the second language acquisition is the advanced fluency. In this stage, the learners communicate fluently in all contexts and have the ability to maneuver when exposed to new information. So what I've discussed earlier is just a few lessons that we tackled in our course, the ELT1. Since I talked about language acquisition, I will now give my tips on how we effectively learned English as our second language. So number one, read. Reading would help you to enrich and expand your vocabularies. Just by reading, you could explore and learn a lot. Second is watching videos or movies that have an accurate English subtitles. So if you are not into reading, then watching movies would be perfect for you. By this, you would easily know how to use words in an appropriate manner. You would equip on how to start conversation with other people. Lastly, communicate, of course. Practice on what you've learned. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just speak on what is in your mind in English and eventually you would surely master it.